That's one of my favorites. His dad comes in with his dick swinging around in his...
Should we close the door? I'm gonna close the door.
Focus, fucker.
Oh, yeah, 'cause, like freight shows up. Beep, beep.
Okay, bye, Jack.
Got my DD shirt on. Especially today. It's like I'm gonna start laughing and sweating a lot. I was watching Cops.
No, you
Cops isn't on till 5.
Cops doesn't start till 4.
I have 2 friends that are on Cops.
Really?
Spokane episode. Joe Lucas, he's now an electrician. Was pulled over for honking his horn unnecessarily. Cops can't pull you over.
He
for
got
that
pulled
anymore.
over.
Yeah.
Oh.
He got pulled over. They searched his car and they found like a 4-foot dragon bong in his truck. He got arrested for it. This is pre-pot smoking days, so it was not legal.
I kind of actually enjoyed Live PD a little bit.
Oh, dude, that was my favorite show. I was so bummed when it went away.
I know.
I rewatch them all the time.
Yeah.
Not one of my faves is Court Cam.
Court Camp.
Same guy does it, but it's about like crazy things that happen in court.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty crazy. That and the first 48.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
There's a comic that was talking about the first 40. It's like, it's almost like they passed the 48 hours and they're just like, well, fuck it. They ain't gonna find him.
They're dead. They're dead or gone.
We gotta find him in 48 hours, then move on to the next one.
You better hope that happens on a Monday too. You get a Friday action? Oh, sorry, bro.
Well, it's never in like Boise.
No.
It's like we're in the hood in Chicago.
Yeah.
It's like,
We started searching for this person in the first 3 hours. We accidentally solved 4 other fucking cases.
Dude, and how many cases do they solve because of like a Cenex zip trip camera?
Yeah.
It's like it all somehow they go to a gas station afterwards, and it's like, oh, there they are.
like, how did you think of that in the beginning?
All right. Are we? We're hot. Okay. Chris, here's your editor notes. Today is Wednesday, my dudes. December 22nd. The serial number on this one is ADP, as in America's Diesel Podcast, 21014. As in the 14th episode since we started the serial number system for 2021. This episode is special guest Kyle Fuckface Bickley from Offroad Pussy Products.
Shit, this is gonna get heated.
Yeah. Motherfucker. I do feel like I'm peaking pretty hard today. I'm a little excited. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little excited. I've been thinking about this all week.
Yeah.
All right. We like to start these episodes usually with just kind of like casual conversation. So Tyler, casual conversation, go.
You put me on the spot.
Yeah.
My service four-wheel drive light went on today.
Isn't it a brand new truck?
Yeah.
That sucks. Nice job, Moran.
But I fixed it. But I think I took a page out of our tech guys, our computer guys book.
Uh-huh.
Did you turn it off? Turn it back on. I did twice, and it fixed it. It was amazing.
You talked to Clint in IT.
And he's like, you turn it off and then turn it back on. Yeah, man, twice. No, I fixed it.
Three times.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's I was looking on. Well, I wasn't. I talked to Josh this morning. And he was looking on a forum and found. See, I thought I got a simple truck because I got a 4x4 shifter.
That's why I was.
No electronics, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's
when
cool.
you told me about it, that's why I was perplexed. I was like, how the hell do you even have a light?
Well, they still managed to add electronics.
Of course they do.
Because they went back to the center axle disconnect on the new trucks. Mm-hmm. So I have instead of a vacuum actuator, which at this point I'd probably take a vacuum actuator because those things freaking lasted for like 20 years. Mm-hmm. But I've got an electronic actuator in my front axle.
Interesting.
And then, there were people who were like, well, you got to check and see if snow packed in there because apparently it's not waterproof.
Oh, well, that's great. Fantastic.
Let's put this traction aid device on this axle, the front axle, mind you. And hey, watertight? Nah.
No, people don't use
Yeah, we don't.
4-wheel drive for
People
that.
don't buy this to live in the snow.
Not even once.
Or sell all the units to Arizona and California.
Yeah.
So at this point, everything that's happened to the truck has been just kind of like a fluke thing, like weird, hasn't happened again. So we'll see what happens when I go home tonight.
That's pretty much what happened with my Colorado. My
Really?
lemon, yeah.
Oh,
My
thanks,
first,
Kyle.
The first one I got ended up being a lemon.
It was, yeah. I
And they
remember.
took it back because it kept saying service 4-wheel drive.
No shit.
Yeah.
We're going to hear about that in a minute here. But first, you may notice there's a third voice.
A third
If you're-
bearded
if you're-
gentleman here.
Yeah, if you're watching, you can tell there's some handsome,
What's up,
munchkin-looking man between me and Kyle. I mean, Tyler. Kyle's over in the middle here. This is Kyle from Offroad Power Products. We affectionately like to make fun of each other for a lot of things. And if you don't like spicy episodes, keep on moving.
Well, there's probably enough beard hair here
Oh, yeah.
to give me and Kyle both a full head of actual hair.
And I would like to thank you for that wonderful intro because, Cooper, on our podcast, the first question is, do you think Kyle is a hobbit or a dwarf? So that's a step up. We still have yet to determine it. No one's responded yet.
It's like some sort of hybrid creature.
Yeah.
The best thing is you're not even like a small guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, compared to Cooper, we're all fucking tiny. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you for tuning in. This is Ben and Tyler and Kyle. Ben and Tyler from the America's Diesel Podcast and Kyle Bickley from Offroad, America's Off-Road Podcast. So you can see the resemblance in name there. If you've been listening for a long time, you know that we had Cooper on before, and you know that part of the Power Products umbrella encompasses diesel power products and off-road power products. See this, the similarities in the name there. And then we have America's Diesel Podcast and America's Off-Road Podcast. See where I'm going with this? All kind of, family.
Crazy.
Woo, I know, right?
To this day, I'm still amazed that we were able to get both of those names, like they weren't already taken.
That is pretty impressive.
I remember sitting in Brian's office when we were brainstorming that stuff. Dude, America's Diesel Super, America's Off-Road. Because that was, I've said it before, that was my go-to.
Yeah.
Whenever in college, all of our stuff, all of our fraternity stuff was America's fraternity, America's this, America's that.
Right.
Add America's in front of everything, it's better.
Yeah.
Straight up. But thank you for tuning in. If you are listening to this, or you actually, I got to start this intro over again. I'm all Twitter pated because Kyle's here and I'm excited. But look at us all
He's
week,
all
man.
giddy.
I'm all giddy. But thank you for tuning in. You can check us out on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere that you listen to podcasts. You can find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast. You can find us on the YouTubes. Great place to leave comments. That's where our resident fact checker, Jim Lawrence, who is not on the payroll, receives $0 for what he does, and he writes dissertations every episode, and I love it. I've talked to him with a keyboard.
Oh, is this one of your customers?
Yeah, one of our customers,
Oh,
one of our
right on.
listeners that actually just started leaving really good comments starting at episode 50.
You know, one thing, I love the reviews that we get on both episodes, but my favorite are the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
I feel like the engagement's way more fun.
It's a lot more fun. You can leave questions or comments there. We're also on the social medias, the Instagram, the Facebook, technically on the TikTok.
Oh,
Don't even check that anymore. So if you think our profile on TikTok's fire, let me know. Maybe I'll log back in and check some notifications.
That's like the one account where I hope someone steals it and does something with it, and then we just fall back into it and be like, wow, look at all these freaking people we have followed us.
Holy guacamole, we went viral.
We're gonna need our password back.
I kind of lost motivation because I was posting a cool video and I posted a good one and started getting really good engagement. It was banned. I was like, what the fuck?
We got banned?
Well, I got the video got taken down. I got put on in the shadow ban, the ice ban.
We were on there for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I made and it was whatever. It's back up now. I had to appeal it. Now it's back, but I just lost all motivation. I was like, if I'm going to go through and that was not even a bad video. If I'm going to go through and every time I have to go through this crap, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But maybe I should. I don't know. If you need diesel parts for your pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. If you need diesel parts fast for your pickup, do not ask me or Tyler straight up because we, a lot of times, do not get back to you immediately. We do get back to you, just not usually as fast as people need it, especially if you're trying to get stuff out the door like next air. We do have 4 sales techs on the phone 12 hours a day, 5 days. barley juice. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific time, ready to answer your questions, place an order, and get you going ASAP. Kyle is laughing his ass off right now because America's Off-Road podcast is a lot more sterile, if you will.
If you guys got kids, family, and you just want to sit down around the dinner table and listen to some good chatter, Offroad Power Products is the podcast for you.
If you're in your truck with your 12-year-old or older kids, we're a great podcast.
Yeah.
With your wife, maybe not. Maybe not.
Man, this is a whole nother world for me.
Reviews. Hit them.
Reviews. We need those reviews. Keep them coming. They are going up.
Yes.
I mean, we're getting more coming in. We need more though. About 100 more. I'm gonna drop my number down a little bit. 100. So keep them coming in. Leave a review on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. Screenshot that and send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure you include a picture of your truck and an address so we can send a sticker to it. It looks just like the logo on our cups, and the background is being blocked by Kyle's head.
What do you? What do they get once you get to 100 reviews? Are you guys doing a giveaway or something?
No.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
Kyle's obviously done way more marketing than we have. It's probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah. The incentive structure for you guys is terrible.
I think if we could get that by the time we hit 200 episodes, I think we should go bonkers for 200.
This is the reason why I say this amount, because if we get that amount of 5-star reviews, we'll be the highest rated, so the highest 5-star rated diesel podcast in all podcast land.
In all of America?
Yeah, out of diesel podcasts. We'll have more 5-star reviews than anybody else.
True.
So that's why.
Yeah.
I spilled the beans.
Leave some reviews, peeps.
Yeah. As Tyler said before, steal your grandparents' phone. Steal your
Yeah,
parents'
stealing old people's phones is so easy. You just I'm gonna show you something just real quick, or hey, I'm gonna take a picture of you guys. You guys look super cute, and don't even take the picture. Just go on Apple Podcasts and just 5-star review it. Submit.
5-star review this episode.
Yeah.
100 5-star reviews on this episode. Then go to America's Off-Road Podcast. Tune in. Give us a review.
Yeah, if we get 100 5-star reviews on this episode, Kyle will send you a shirt.
Yeah.
Maybe even a hat. Look at this cool hat.
Yeah.
Or
the cool
the cup. Look. Did you see the theme here? Off-road hats, off-road diesel.
Yeah.
We're just one big happy family.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle. So
Yep.
you started alluding to your lemon pickup. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I jumped into originally Diesel Power Products. Off-Road Power Products, kind of a newer branch that we really kind of invested in 2018. It's been around for a long time. But yeah, so I jumped into the diesel side of things. I had a pickup truck. I was taken up into an office and forced to buy a truck, pretty much. I'm just kidding. No, it was really cool. So it was the year the ZR2s came out, the Colorados with the 2.8 Duramax. Never owned a diesel. Pretty stoked on it. Picked up this truck. Bought it sight unseen, drove it back here. The owner, Brian, hopped in it. He's like, let's go for a spin. We go for a drive. We come back, and as soon as he puts it in park, the service 4-wheel drive light pops up.
This is a great start to a relationship.
I drove it from Kellogg to Spokane. We did one little drive. Excitement's at an all-time high, and I got a service light. So that sucked. So, yeah, we ended up taking it back 3 or 4 times. They just couldn't figure it out. And eventually just said, yep, we're going to buy it back from you. So they bought it back, got one that was a cooler color, had all the same features. We built it out, drove that for probably 2-ish years, and then got rid of it.
You had some good times in that one. You wheeled that one pretty good.
Yeah, I jumped it, bro. Just full Chad right into – we went to – it's a funny story. So we went to EJS. It was my first year there wheeling, so it was a new experience for me. This truck was pretty loaded down. Had a fridge freezer in the back, rack, recovery gear, big, heavy 150-pound rooftop tent. Decided to go to a trail called Poison Spider Mesa. The entrance of it is big, wide, rolling whoops, kind of like what you see at 7 Mile. You know those big ones? Cooper gets on the radio. I'm following him. Brian and Cooper are in the truck in front of me. He's like, Kyle, I bet you won't jump it. Send it, dude. So I'm like, oh, yeah, watch this. I got the camera guy in the passenger seat, Brian Meyer in the back seat, and I just pin it, just full send. Next thing you know, Cooper's screaming, laughing over the radio. He claims my rear was like 6 feet in the air. Just sent it. So yeah, I did that. We did Moab twice in it. I had the opportunity to be we had the opportunity to be a title sponsor for Overland Adventure the first year they did it. So we wheeled from Wickenburg, Arizona to Flagstaff without touching pavement, pretty much. That was a cool trip. But yeah, tons of time with it, with the family, camping, going to the lake, doing all that fun stuff.
For those of you wondering, EJS stands for Easter
forget
Jeep
you guys
Safari.
are diesel guys.
Yeah, they're all like EJS. Was it like a rave or something?
No, it's a really cool Jeep event that is put on in Moab, Utah, and it's pretty crazy if you get the opportunity to go. It is packed. It's a really small city, and you cannot. It's like gridlock. You've been in California. You used to live there. It's like traffic on the highway. It's like that on every trail. So it's cool because you get to see a lot of cool rigs, meet a lot of cool people, have tons of fun. So
let's dive right into the elephant in the room.
Hold on. Let's back up because we got to talk. He like just briefly touched on that ZR2. It is a diesel.
Yeah.
Okay. Those trucks are pretty well equipped for as far as from the factory. I mean, that thing had lockers.
So the cool thing with that platform, I think, that Chevy did right was they built it obviously to compete with the midsize trucks. So your Tacomas, Ford Rangers. I don't know if we want to put them in a category, but basically the Tacoma. So yeah, the ZR2 platform comes with front and rear lockers. But the other really cool thing they did was they took the Multimatic suspension that is on their Camaros, and it's the first time they took that technology and put it into their midsize truck. So I had these pretty cool shocks on it, which when I built the truck, obviously you pay a lot of money for that upgrade. So we kept that in mind. We did not want to sacrifice those. So we kind of kept it low to the ground. We did a 2-inch lift kit and then opened up the wheel wells to fit 35s. We obviously, if you're anything like the off-road community, I don't know about you diesel guys, but probably one of the things we preach the most about, the most underrated upgrade you can do is re-gearing your truck.
Oh yeah.
So with the 35s, even though it's not a huge tire, we still went to 456 gears. That completely changed the drivability of the truck night and day. Definitely got me back into the power band and the torque where it should be. Because I actually drove it on the stock gears with 33s before I went to 35s, and it was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the rest of the truck was pretty much just kitted out with your standard. We had a calibrated power spade tuner on it. Some KMC bead locks. We transitioned over to some AV stuff. They make a lot of cool stuff for the Colorado, so we kind of kitted out to look like the Bison, and then rack, rooftop tent, all the camping gear.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, right out of the box, those trucks are awesome. They handle great. You got front and rear lockers, so they're doing it right.
Yeah. And mileage-wise, I mean, pretty good mileage, I would assume, with that little 2.8.
Yeah, once I re-geared it, I was back up to about 18, 19 miles a gallon on 35s. Yeah, and I was towing my boat. I was getting about 12 miles a gallon, so towed the boat great.
Has a hitch?
Yeah, dude, it does, man. And so for any of you Colorado guys out there listening, if you do have the gasser, fun fact, what a lot of guys are doing is they're taking the diesel springs. They're buying diesel springs, putting them in their gas springs because they're heavier load rating. So that'll help out if you're into overlanding or anything. But I ran some Deaver springs in the rear. Yeah, those were awesome. So towed great. It was a fun truck.
It was a cool looking truck. I do have to I have a heart. So the smallest bet I ever had was the Eco Diesel.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think the Tundra is competing for the small because that was a pretty small bet in that truck too. I think the Eco Diesel. I don't know.
I think the Eco Diesels was smaller than the Tundra.
You think?
Yeah.
It's a pretty small bed in that Tundra. It's the same size bed as what Kyle's got now.
Can't be by much. Maybe half a foot, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, the Tundra is still. I mean, because you didn't have the full 4-door with a bed.
Yeah, I
on
did.
There.
My Tundra?
It wasn't the big 4-door.
It was a
cab,
Crew Max, dude.
It wasn't the biggest one though. They make a bigger cab than that.
Bullshit.
Yes, they do.
Kyle, back me up on that. Crew Max is the biggest cab.
I'm not aware of a bigger one than the
on
one
your
I
Tundra.
have.
Your Tundra did not have the full back 4-door. Like it had,
Yeah, it did.
It had 4 doors, but they make a bigger one than what you had.
No way, dude.
Yes, they do.
We're gonna fight right now.
Oh, cell phones are coming out.
Dude, Offroad Power Products, back me up here. Crew Max biggest. They don't make a bigger cab than a Crew Max.
Not that I'm aware of. The one I have is
What's in your drink over there, Ben?
the only bigger one that I'm aware of is I don't even think they make.
They don't make it bigger than the Crew Max.
No.
I will put $100 bill down right now Actually, I'm gonna take that back just in case I'm wrong. There's no way. Look at these guys searching. Jim,
Okay.
where's our fact check on
Hold
this?
on a second here. Because there's a
Dude, that back of that truck was bigger than my mega cab.
Which truck did you have? Which door configuration did you
Dude, the Crew Max, bro.
have? On the white one?
Yes.
I could have swore that you didn't have like the actual like door handle.
Dude,
on
I had
the
a full-on door, dude. It was bigger back there than my mega cab.
back. Okay, then I'm wrong on this one because I could have swore that you didn't have the.
Apologize to me, right?
I'm sorry, Tyler. Show me a picture of your truck.
Okay.
No, not.
I don't even know if I took any pictures of it because I was kind of embarrassed that I drove it.
How many episodes did you have that? While we're on that topic.
How many episodes did we have? Did he have the Tundra?
Yeah.
For what? It was a good year.
I mean,
It
there's
was too long, Kyle. Too long.
So while Tyler's pulling up that picture, because I'm probably going to get proved wrong here, but my memory's probably not doing me too many favors right now.
I'm trying to find. Like, I never took an actual picture of it. Again, because I took it. I have a picture, but it shows the back door open.
He doesn't even have. He hated the truck that much. He doesn't even have a single photo of it.
Dude, that's a Crew Max, bro.
Yeah, I want to see the door handle though.
Well, I can't show you that because the door is open. I never took a picture of it, dude.
Because I feel like the door handle wasn't the normal kind of pull door handle. Was the one that was.
Dude, it
vertical.
was because you can't get an extended cab
Yeah.
with that short of bed.
And
Okay.
the ones that have the pull handle on the side have an indentation on the back of
Indentation,
the
right.
cab.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
right
right.
there.
My bad. My bad.
Yeah.
I'll take the L on that one.
Gosh, that got heated quickly.
Golly.
I love
My
it.
Lord.
Ew. Okay, so now that we got me and Tyler fought once here. I do want to address something real quick, Kyle.
Okay.
Okay, overlanding. What the fuck, man?
What do you mean, man? It's the greatest thing ever. You gotta overload your truck and go down some sketchy stuff. And no, yeah, it's it's funny. I had this conversation with Cooper on our podcast last night. We were talking about how that's actually transitioning into side by sides. We're starting to see people like
Yeah.
throw rooftop tents on their side by sides, take seats out and put in like fridge freezers, and it's a community, that's for sure. And there's definitely different breeds of them.
I see so many that are just like,
Well, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room here because there is a in that bathroom right there. There's a camping magazine. And it's like overland. Like I go camping, but when I look at that magazine, it makes me feel like I'm a glamper, and I'm not actually camping. But then I start looking in that book, and I'm like, these guys sound like they're miserable out here. Like, are they foraging right now?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, the idea behind overlanding is like to be self-sufficient outside of your vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So I personally think a lot of this stemmed from the van life. Somebody somewhere came up with a rooftop tent, and that changed everything. But it's fun. Like there's lots of really cool people in that community. Overland Expo is a really cool event that's put on in Flagstaff, and you want to check out some overlanding stuff. You can see every different kind of full extreme to not so extreme. For me personally, I grew up camping out of trailers. That was my thing. We had a tow behind trailer. I loved the rooftop tent just for where you can camp.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. I don't necessarily run around and I'm like, I'm Overland AF. Like, I don't go crazy with the badges and the stickers and the patches and stuff like that. But there's something to be said with rooftop tents and overlanding when you can drive to the top of a lookout tower and flip open your bed and you crawl in and you already have a mattress. It's warm. So it's fun, but yeah, I think some people are taking it to the extreme. It's interesting.
I mean, with every denomination of like motorsport, whatever you want to call it, there's always like the certain types and certain.
Oh, yeah.
Like in the diesel community, there's always like those kind of guys too.
Yep.
Tell me about some of the different types of breeds in the overland community.
So they're all over the spectrum. For example, like when I pulled into Overland Expo, like one of the first rigs Cooper and I saw was a Earth Roamer pulling its G-Wagon behind it. And it's like
Overlanding!
and it's like, whoa. So, I mean, you've got the guys that are really minimalistic. I would put myself and like Cooper, for example, in that category. Like sleeping arrangements and food are the only two things we really care about. Then you get the guys that go all out, where they're pulling out rear seats, they're putting in storage compartments. Pros and cons to both, kind of depends on what you're doing. The thing I don't like about the people that go to the full extreme is their vehicles are not meant to do that. Like on one of the trips I went on, there was this JK that was like, don't quote me, but I heard that it was about 11,500 pounds.
Holy
Jeep
shit.
JK. How
How does that even happen?
Had to come and swap in it,
Okay.
but it stopped at every hill because it was overheating, and it was just like, dude, what are you thinking? And the thing is, you get to camp, and it's like, of all this stuff that you're using, or all this stuff you have, how much are you really using?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to use the microwave that you put in there with your inverter and all this other like? Most of the time when we get to camp, you set up your rooftop tent, you throw something on the stove, and you go to bed. Some of these guys are going crazy with it. Even what's the truck? Is it the Ford Maverick that's got that whole kitchen that slides out of the side of it now?
No, that's the Rivian. That's that that electric truck.
Oh, have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It made Motor Trend's Truck of the Year.
Yeah.
Dude, so it's definitely a community that's growing very quickly. But yeah, there's just like any other, like you said, any other motorcycles. There's different breeds of them, and when it comes to overlanding, it's kind of what you make it. Some of the guys they really embrace it, and they want to, even if they're going for the weekend, they pack enough stuff to survive for a month.
Yeah.
Like they've got propane and backup batteries and backup fuel, and for me, I go as minimalistic as possible. I'm more worried about recovery gear and stuff like that than I am an extra blanket if I get cold or something.
Mm-hmm.
But they're crazy. I love them.
I don't know if I could hang out with those people.
No, that's the cool thing. There's a lot of people. It's kind of like we make fun in the Cooper and I and Ash always bicker about like the Jeep guys are the rock crawlers and the Toyota guys are the granola eaters and like.
Oh, yeah.
There's really cool people. There's definitely some interesting people like you would get in any big crowd. But there's some cool ones, and there's a lot of people doing some really cool stuff on full size diesel trucks too now. But yeah, you get that with any big crowd.
So what kind of granola is best?
What kind of
Stone
granola?
ground or
Cage-free granola? Is that anything? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Cage-free? Yeah.
Cage-free granola.
No blood diamond granola?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
exactly.
Free range granola?
Organic.
Organic?
Yeah.
Organic granola.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Okay.
Organic.
Do they make non-organic granola? That's like better for you?
Non-organic granola? Isn't
Yeah.
organic better than non-organic?
Well, I mean, the organic stuff may fall short of what you could make if you made it on
Of
your own.
flavor.
Yeah. Flavor, maybe some probiotics, amino acids, whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like kind of what I'm seeing it turn into is the rock crawling guys in that industry are starting to see like what these overland guys are doing, and they're kind of coming together with these super crazy unique builds. So it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I love camping. We go, when it's the season, like we try to get out every weekend.
Right.
So I can respect the overland group, the people, the people that do that, the guys that try to stuff all the stuff in their rig. But I mean, at some point, like there's got to be a balance.
There's definitely a line to be drawn.
Yeah, because like
sure.
you start affecting the performance of your vehicle because you've got so much stuff.
I think one of the biggest issues I have when I go to like a big show and I see a lot of people that have completely thrown, thousands of pounds on their rig is what we do at Offroad and probably similar on the diesel side of things. The first thing we're doing is drivability, suspension, wheels, tires, gears. Then we'll go throw a whole bunch of stuff on top of it.
Right.
I've seen a lot of rigs where you walk by it and it's like stock wheels, stock tires, which is okay, but bone stock suspension. They're sitting in the parking lot flat and their rear is 2 inches lower than their front.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, that thing has got to ride terrible when you're going down the road. And you're building these rigs supposedly to go off-road, to go down a dirt road at least. That's got to ride terrible. So that if that would be my biggest complaint and my biggest like double look when I'm going through these shows. It's like, whoa, that guy's got like $25,000 worth of overlanding gear. Oh, well, he's got the stock suspension, and it's like
Those springs are facing the wrong direction.
Yeah.
dude, it's crazy. So yeah, I think that was our big conversation of last night. Was like, I think people don't necessarily prioritize the way they should when they're doing these big builds and throwing a lot of weight on it. I mean, it took me only probably 2 months of having a rack and a rooftop tent, which is not a lot of weight, to upgrade to Deaver Springs, because I was like, no, I don't like the way this thing rides.
So that brings me to like a next good kind of thing to talk about here, because I will say, as much as we harp on Overlander guys, and I'll be honest, those listening or watching, you're getting like the G version
Yeah.
of us harping on Overlanding dudes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean diesel guys as well. Nobody's. We make fun of people equally. Just so you know,
That's
there's
such a great line. We make fun of people equally. I like that.
yeah. If you're not getting made fun of, that means we don't like you.
Yeah.
If you're hearing noise in the background, FedEx just got here and they're loading shit in the back, so don't worry about that. It'll go away eventually.
Nobody knows how to use a freaking pallet jack back
Yeah.
there.
Clank,
Come
clank,
on,
clank.
clean it up!
Yeah. Sign up back there. Shit. So for those that are, well, I'm not going to call it overlaying, but for those that maybe have their tow rig and their fun rig, if you had to kind of prioritize doing things on a budget, I know you guys talk about being on a budget and whatnot. What are like some key items that you can get right off the bat that are going to pay dividends in the end?
As far as the vehicle or the overlanding gear?
We'll do both. Like if there's someone who's not looking to, I'm not trying to do my whole entire suspension,
Right.
and I'm not trying to go super hardcore on the accessories, but like I don't even know what the budget is out there, but like I just want to get out there, and I'm not trying to do everything that I can with this vehicle.
Yeah, well, I think one thing that people one misconception with overlanding is like, if you got a rooftop tent, you're an overlander. Like, that's not necessarily the case. There's a lot of rigs that we've built that we overland in all the time that don't have rooftop tents, and the way to get around that, or the way to kind of dip your feet in the water, if you will, is we've got tent cots that are super rad.
Mhm.
Like for sleeping, we'll start with sleeping arrangements, because obviously if you're going to go overlanding, you're staying the night out in the woods. So there's we've categorized into like 3 different things. You can go full on rooftop tent. Obviously you're going to need a rack and stuff like that, so that adds up pretty quick. If you're on a budget, tent cots are really awesome. They keep you off the ground. It's kind of like a rooftop tent for the ground. And lastly, if you're really minimalistic, the Eno hammocks, like they fit in your glove box. So that's a great way to go. As far as food and like cooking and stuff like that, Dometic makes a ton of different size fridge freezers, which are awesome. We've got them in pretty much all our rigs here. If you don't know what a fridge, do you guys sell them on diesel?
No.
Yeah,
No.
we do.
You do?
Do we?
Yep.
Oh,
I've
sorry,
put some on diesel.
For me already, I'm like, fridge freezer? That's too much for me.
No, it sounds crazy, and I always thought they were crazy, but when I had one in my Colorado, that was one of the first things I pulled right out of my truck before I sold it. I was like, I can't live without one of these things. They make them in a ton of different sizes, so you don't have to get the most expensive one, but you can hardwire them to your battery, you can plug them into your cigarette lighter, and it's a portable fridge and freezer, which is cool. And then Timbo Tusk, they're really inexpensive. It's like $390. You get this super rad cooking disc that you can pretty much cook anything on. So that's where I would go. Like, make sure you have comfort in sleeping, and everyone likes to eat good. That's one of the things we kind of preach on the off-road side. We don't like eating hot dogs and stuff. Like, a lot of times we eat better out in the woods than we do at home. Like, we're cooking like lobster tails and filet mignon steaks on the Timbo Tusk. As far as your vehicle goes, I think the most important thing for me personally, if you're going to add all that weight, you have the right recovery gear. And if you're not going to run bead locks or any oversized tires, always keep a patch kit and an air compressor in your truck.
Would you say full-size spare as well?
I would say a full-size spare, but it's getting crazy with the technology. Like, Tyler just got some of those method bead grips. Man, they are tough to mount, and they're tough to take off. So I think, having seen people in the industry run them, and I have yet to see anybody de-beat them, I think with the technology of tires, it'll make a great tire with a super strong sidewall and the bead grips, or if you're running bead locks. I think that's perspective.
Okay.
I think if you don't have bead grips or a bead lock and you don't have an air compressor, yeah, bring a full-size spare. A full-size spare, not your stock spare.
Yeah, and one thing I want to bring up with the fridge freezer thing, okay?
Right.
I'm still in the trying to justify the purchase price of one of those. But if you actually think about it, if you added up the amount of money that you spend on ice throughout an entire camping season, I bet you that would add up to about half as much as what a fridge freezer. So like, I feel like a fridge freezer would pay itself off in like 2 years.
I get it. I totally get it. Here's an example for you. So we went wheeling. I went on UA 2018 with Cooper and wheeled over on the East Coast. Brought our big grizzly cooler, filled it with some dry ice and some ice. Had all of our sandwich fixings in there for like 2 days. Went wheeling. Just pulled over for lunch to make our Sammys, and the ice broke free. Got into the bread bag, soaked all the bread, soaked all the cheese, soaked all the meat.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I get it, but I mean, it's definitely a convenience thing for sure. It's not something that's priority or necessary to overland with. You can just as well throw it in a
well, I was gonna
nice cooler.
getting one of those for like my side by side.
Totally, and they make them in small sizes. Somebody I can't remember who. Somebody fit a Dometic inside their glove box, or I'm sorry, their center console.
Wow.
So they opened their center console and it was like the smallest Dometic, and they just like it only holds like a 6-pack of soda. But Snickers. So you can get them small, but you can also go as big as you want. Where you can, a lot of people use them as like spare fridges in their garage. So yeah, it's definitely a convenience thing for sure. But it's and just like rooftop tents, there's more and more fridge freezer companies popping up left and right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, one thing that I also wanted to bring into that maybe people don't know about Offroad Power Products, side-by-side stuff.
Dude.
Everybody that I know that has a side-by-side drives a diesel truck.
Yep.
And they're towing it with a diesel truck. So it's like it's another fun thing that diesel guys do too. I could say from my own experience, I've had probably like one of the best summers of my life with my side-by-side. I freaking love that thing. I cannot wait to get back out I can go tomorrow if I wanted to, but it's something that is a huge market that's growing, and you guys have gotten a lot. You guys have a ton of side-by-side stuff. You're adding more. I just got some System 3 tires from you.
Yeah.
By the way,
I know.
So you guys know, like, the way that we're laid out here in our hallway, we've talked about it before, but like, so if you go from the front, Kyle's office is in the front, out of the middle, Tyler's right behind me.
Yeah.
We're all within earshot of each other.
Yeah.
And so I can't do Tyler's like, Kyle, where's my tires? Kyle!
Yeah.
Tires!
Yeah. I wasn't gonna bring this up, but I'm going to. But it's almost like this only happens when it's like let's say I didn't work here. I was like, hey Ben, can you order me this? Like something inevitably happens.
Oh,
Like it is the weirdest thing. Whenever you whether it be like a shipping delay that's completely out of our hands.
Oh yeah.
But there's something that always happens.
it truly is. And I have a couple friends that have like ordered stuff before, or like I try to do it for them. I let them know like, hey, just so you know, there is like a curse.
Yeah.
If I do this for you, if you were to place the order on your own, like we didn't even know each other through the website, it'd go perfectly.
Yeah.
You get all your shipping updates, you get your email address correct, you get everything fine. It probably gets you like super fast.
Yeah.
But the second that I like try to make it happen for you, now it's like it's pulling off from somewhere else, it's out of stock, shipping doesn't get right. Somehow there's a twin of you in Vermont, you're in California.
Yeah.
It's
A tornado comes through and wipes out the truck it's carrying.
exactly. It's always gonna get trashed.
Real quick, are we still recording on the camera here?
Yeah.
Is there a red light? Okay. I thought there was a red light. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, Corey says we're good. So yeah, just so nobody's freaking out here. We have two cameras, one for redundancy, and the one that is the backup one is now not recording. So
Sorry, I just screwed you guys up.
the battery
Just like, wait a second. Just hold on.
we don't hide things from listeners.
I'm transparent.
Dude, we're just a bunch of diesel dudes trying to make a podcast. We don't know what the hell we're doing. The fact that we made it this far is
Miracle.
It's a miracle.
on multiple levels. Seriously, the fact that we're about to hit 200 boggles my mind.
Yeah. All right, back to the side by side.
Yeah, they're crazy. Right, I mean, right out of the box, they're ready to go. Like compared to like a fully built Jeep, it's kind of changed the way wheeling and trail riding goes in the off-road industry. Because you have these, I don't want to say the Jeep guys are slow, but it seems like every time you hit the trail, some side by sides trying to rip past you or blow by you. But they're crazy. So the cool thing with the side by side stuff is they're really the aftermarket industry has really accepted them. Tons of cool upgrades to suspension, wheels, tires, you name it. You can pretty much do whatever you want on those things. They're crazy fun.
Yeah. So I got some Method wheels that I ordered through Diesel Power Products. I got some System 3 tires that I ordered through you guys.
Yep.
What do you think the next thing I should do on my side by side?
Suspension. Not your shocks. I think your shocks out of the gate are awesome. That's the cool thing.
Yeah.
The cool thing with these things, a lot of times, even just replacing your springs will make a huge difference. But probably one of the most common calls we get are people busting A-arms.
Really?
Yeah, the A-arms are the radius rods. In fact, when we did the radius rods on Cooper's Talon, when we were pulling them off, he didn't even realize one of them was bent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we laid it down on the floor and it like rolled to its side and rocked, and we were like, what the heck? But yeah, that's probably one of the most common ones. You can get into some fairly cheap aftermarket ones, or you can go full blown like chromoly.
I've got the
high clearance and
boxed Super ATV high clearance arms in my sights.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Another thing that I've heard a lot of people talk about, especially like hanging out in the woods with people side by side. They talk about the tender springs on top of the coilover, because like a lot of them when they come from the factory, they're like completely smushed.
Sure.
It's like what's going on there?
A tender? I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. So there's the main spring of the shock, right? Their coilover or whatever. Yeah. And then on the top of that, there's a small spring.
Okay.
Most of them, like on like the factory razors and like my Talon, they're like completely smushed. And people say like replace those with like I've got a buddy that's got some that are replaced, and he's actually got gaps between the coils, so it actually like does something. Because if you look at mine like right now, like you look at it, you're like, this doesn't do a goddamn thing.
If you go full droop, does it expand?
Yeah.
Okay.
It should.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
You just okay. I got an idea.
Yeah.
I've only gotten airborne at like 60 miles an hour on that.
Eyes on my spring.
See, that's the crazy thing with these side by sides too. Is like everything comes at you a lot faster.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you get into one of these things and you put your pedal down, and it's like there's no way there's no way an 18-year-old kid should be able to walk in the store and buy an X3. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the springs, what most people are doing, RT Pro, great product line. Another stem from Fox and BDS and those guys. They sell a whole new replacement kit that allows you to select like kind of your ride and what you normally do on a day-to-day basis. So like heavy duty rate's going to be more of your trail riding and stuff like that. They have a sports set. It's going to be more of your like fast-paced race stuff, and that comes with those springs as well as the lower springs for replacements. And they're pretty expensive. They're like $500, but totally changes drivability of it. Yeah, side by sides they're crazy, man. I rolled ours.
Yeah.
I rolled the dirt nap right in front of Cooper.
Before I get into my next question, I do want to touch on that. So Kyle holds the company record for just wrecking shit.
Oh man, no, not the record. Only two.
I only broke one company rig, and they've never let me in another one. So I guess it was a good enough one.
It seems like not every time, but more often than not, whenever I hear the off-road power products guys, they do go on camping trips. Leave us diesel guys here to fucking
Play on your trucks.
pick our noses and sell shit. And we always come back, and Kyle's like usually walking to the door, like not a sling, you know. Usually beat up when we hear like Cooper walks in, guys.
Oh man.
Kyle broke everything.
Yeah. There's been some trips. Yeah.
What's the most memorable, the most for good or bad? Like, what is the one that just sticks out? This is like, hey.
Good San Hollow was the X3. Bad the Priest Lake trip on the 4-wheeler.
Oh
Yeah, San Hollow was cool. Nobody got injured. Nothing really broke. That's the cool thing with side by sides too. I mean, I think, in fact, everyone in Offroad Power Products has officially either flipped or rolled the side by side. Funny story. I don't know if you've heard this one first, and then I'll get back to your answer or question. first like 5 minutes at Easter Jeep Safari. We're hanging out, and all of a sudden Brian walks through these bushes. We're like, you left in your side by side. You're walking back, and he's like, hey, I tried a donut, it tipped over. Like within 2 minutes of us unloading it from the trailer. But yeah, St. Hollow was probably the most memorable just because of the people and how cool that area is. If you haven't gone there, it's huge sand dune right next to huge red rock, and there's no restrictions on anything. Like, you want to put a tire on that rock, go for it. They don't care. Which is completely opposite of Moab, where if you step on the grass, like, you can get a fine. They don't want you walking off the trail. So, tons of freedom there. Super cool place, but yeah, I just misjudged a turn in an obstacle and just right on my side. The pre-strip was a little bit different. That was a little bit of fatigue.
Here's the thing. I don't blame you for what you were driving, because what you were driving is something to like.
It's crazy.
To my standards, like nowadays, like that is like, well, before, like, that's just like a crazy freaking four-wheeler.
It's
like that is an insane.
another one of those things where it's like, you should pass like a driving test before you get on that thing. It's pretty crazy, but yeah, the Player Scrambler, it's a cool rig. Like long travel suspension, all the power you want.
It's got basically the same engine that's in a Razor, right? But just not turbo.
Yeah,
Are they turbo?
Really?
Dude,
Dude, they're
1000
insane.
cc. Yeah, it's nutty.
I just want to go on record here. Like, I'm super green when it comes to like side by side, and so I'm genuinely shocked at that they put that engine in a
Dude,
freaking
that
block.
thing is wicked.
It's fast. It's scary fast. Yeah. It's pretty impressive. So I mean, I don't have a four-wheeler, so I haven't been on a four-wheeler in I don't know how long, since I was hunting with my dad 15 years ago.
Riding a freaking Honda Foreman.
Yeah,
Like 38 horsepower.
350.
straight axle in the rear. Yeah, so we go on this really cool trip. We decide to go to a lookout tower. It was probably a, I don't know, 30-40 minute drive. But we don't drive, we go. Like, there's not a lot of, it's not like, oh, look at the pretty views. It's just like eyes on the road the whole eyes on the road the whole time. Anyways, long story short, just spent the whole day behind the thing. When we got to the lookout tower, like, it was hard to hold on. It was almost like I don't know how to explain it, but like my hands like wouldn't grip it. Like crazy arm pump. Coming down, it was pitch black. Wearing a pumper helmet, but I didn't have a pumper, so I had to like crack the visor because it kept fogging up. The visor's cracked. And there's also dust in front of me, so the dust is coming in, getting in my eyes. So I'm opening it and closing it, and fatigued, and just came into a corner too hot and yard sailed myself into the boulders. Thankfully, thank God, it was a left-hand turn going down the mountain and not a right-hand turn, because a right-hand turn would have been a completely different story.
Well, very surprised that the damage-wise, it wasn't that bad.
No, we were able to fix it.
That's a pretty
It's stout.
badass machine.
It's
That's a badass.
It's cool. Yeah, if you're into four-wheelers, that's the one to get.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been some interesting stories like that with Kyle on trips.
So getting for side by side stuff, because we know that a lot of diesel dudes like going out and dicking
I
around.
love talking about this stuff. We can talk about this for the rest of the podcast. So it'll be totally cool.
If you're someone like me who like I know things, but I know enough to be dangerous, basically. Like in every sense of the
Oh, this is fast. Cool.
Exactly. I know enough to be dangerous, but I don't know enough to know what I'm doing. If you were to want, like, and it's always budget oriented, like to get into your first side by side, what's something that like I'm not willing to go to the dealership and drop 30 grand on a side by side. I also don't want to buy a old one for $500 and have it be shitty and tinker on it every 5 minutes. What is that good middle ground that someone should be looking at?
I mean, it is. I would say like the first year that I think 17, you can pick up like a pretty nice X3. I like the X3s, and it even goes back to like what are you going to use it for? Because obviously the cool thing with side by sides is it seems like every year the new chassis gets released, which is tough to keep up with parts and stuff. But they're so versatile. You can get something like the OG, like a John Deere. So if you're using it for like farming, but 2000 razors are awesome. They've made those for several years. You can get those fairly inexpensive. Shouldn't say that fairly inexpensive because you can't even. Everything used now is like whether it's
Yeah. I mean, the market is subject to change, obviously, and stuff like that. But
like 2017, I think you could pick up a really good first, whether it's an X3 or an XP1000 or the Turbo S. You could get a really fun rig.
so when you say X3, is that Can-Am?
Can-Am, yeah.
Okay.
Can-Am's pretty. They're fun. They're tons of fun.
Well, I got that tried and true Rotax, that motor. I mean, that engine. They've put that thing in everything. Everything they freaking make, they have a Rotax engine.
Right.
So they're definitely proven. But I mean, shoot, even my Talon, brand new. I don't even remember what I paid for it. I think 22. I think
I thought you said outdoor ended up being like 28 or something like that.
no.
The Talon's cool because it's got the gearbox, and like that's kind of the biggest issue we have, especially again back to our conversation we had last night on the Offroad podcast. People are throwing all this weight for overlanding on these side by sides. They're not taking into account like
Clutch.
it's gonna put a lot of strain on your clutch in your belt.
Yeah.
It's gonna put a lot of work to get that weight moving, and that's the cool thing with the Talons is they're gearbox driven. And back to your question, I take back what I said. Those YXCs are so fun to drive.
Do you know the one thing I don't like about those?
What's that?
Is the seating position and the way that the front end. Like
It's a little different.
I've just rode in one. I haven't drove one, but it kind of is the same thing with the Can-Ams. They've got like that downward kind of seating position. And you're as far as like looking over obstacles, and that's kind of because I was doing my research on all of them as far as what I wanted, and the Talon kind of came out to me because for one, the gearbox, as far as I feel like that is a more reliable setup. And then second, the seating position and the way that you sit, like just the way that you are in it. Like you can see, you can, I don't know. It just, I guess I haven't really drove in like an X3, like Canon, like Cooper's.
Right.
But I did take a ride in the YXZ, and it's just like this downward kind of. It's more of like a. I feel like it was like a track, go fast, like on a designated. Here you go, kind of a road, kind of a thing.
Those things are so fun. That's what they built. The YXC is more of like short course UTV, short wheelbase. I mean, those things are squirrely. You steer with the rear on those, so they're a ton of fun to drive. Again, gearbox driven, paddle shifters. For a fun level, like if you want something that's sporty and goes fast, I really like those YXCs.
It would have to be a 4-seater because I'm not trying to do this.
I'm gonna make one on a Talon, buddy. Here's the thing. You know what's funny with my Talon? I thought I would use the paddle shifters a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, it's nice that they have the option for you to either use or not use.
Because that thing in sport mode is a maniac.
I think if you spent time like wheeling in like Moab, it'd be all paddles.
Yeah.
Because
You're staying in one. Yeah. I would. Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, out on the trails, it's more of a fun factor than anything.
Honestly, like even on like some of the just like logging roads, you put that thing in sport mode. I think for what it is and the horsepower that it has, like I've got a buddy that lives like literally right down the road from us, and he's got a Turbo 1000 Razor 4-seater, and I'm always behind him, and I'm always trying to like just kind of keep up with him, and because like he rips, and I'm like trying to like rip with him, and be like, okay, I can keep up with, and I can keep up with him on logging roads. Like I don't need a turbo. Like I can get right up on him.
Yeah, but you can get one.
I know.
Trust me, you don't need one doesn't mean you shouldn't.
There has been many a times after a ride where we get back, campfires going, we're talking. I'm like, if I only had a little bit more power, like just a little bit more, I can just and just kind of go faster. But at the same time, then I kind of like talk myself out of it. Like I don't really need it. Like how often are we going like balls out, ready to rip? Like I know I was talking to Cooper with as soon as I get the 32s on there. Like he said it was more peppy, it's more responsive. So I'm excited about that because I every time we go riding, I was telling you this the other day. Like I look for obstacles. Like when we stop, like I'm looking around. Like is there a trail that I can go play on? Because like I want to go climb some stuff. Like I want to get into like a little hairy situation. Like I want to play. I want to play, and that's what's I feel is what's cool with that transmission is just the way that it reacts and instead of like a belt where you're relying on that to get traction to the rear tires. But what do I know?
The other thing that's nice with the Razors, or just Polaris Razor platform in general, is it's like the Jeep. It's the most accessorized side-by-side
Oh yeah.
in the market, hands down. So if you did want to get into riding side-by-sides, if you did go the route of the Razor, like, there's no shortness of accessories out there on the market for it. But I think Can-Am and the Talons are coming up pretty quick behind it, and there's some rumor has it there's some pretty cool things coming down the road for Can-Am. Polaris released a bunch of cool stuff this year.
They sure freaking did. Here's the thing, like Can-Am and Polaris have been like one upping each other, like doing a little like horsepower war.
This year,
They went huge.
2 liters of fury. We got
They're non-turbo, right?
non-turbo, naturally aspirated. Yeah,
Over 200 horsepower.
cuckoo. It's like 2,000 cc's,
I have 100 horsepower.
which is weird because I did my own research, because everything you look at online, no matter, you could Google it right now, and everything will tell you UTVs are restricted to 1,000 cc's everywhere. Can't remember, Offroad something association. Offroad. Yeah, it's crazy. So there's this association. They're the ones that come up with regulations for the season, and it's the head of it's like Polaris. It's all the top.
Yeah.
Mahindra, Yamaha. Sorry. Yeah, it's crazy that everyone's stuck to just the 1,000 cc's, and all of a sudden this thing comes out, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute, where did the displacement rules go? Because you just doubled them.
It reminds me of the like with sport bikes. There was that gentleman's agreement about the 300 kilometer an hour. They're like, all right, we're not going to produce anything that goes over this. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And all of a sudden, I think it was Suzuki or something like that. Was like,
Yeah, we're gonna do it.
it stayed stagnant. Everybody was like, this does 299, 298.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh yeah, we do like 340. Gentleman's agreement gone.
So yeah, it'll be crazy to see. I mean, next year. I mean, everyone's pushing the limits in every motor industry, but
Somewhat freaks me out because at the same time, like I feel like I could like with my 1,000 cc.
you feel like you can fly.
Well, I feel like I could fly, but it's control. I feel like it's controllable. Like anything more, and that's what talked me out of the turbo kit. It's like I can use all this horsepower and have fun with it and whip my ass around and have a great time. But if I had more power, like that's when you start crossing the line and things start getting dangerous, because now I'm like going into a corner and freaking hammering it and just like drifting way for it's just it just kind of freaks me out at the same time. Like I love horsepower, I love going fast, but when you're in the woods and if you fly off a freaking mountain, like you could kill yourself.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is, like, I totally understand where you're coming from. The only reason my perspective is a little bit different is because I spent the whole day in Cooperstown, and then Brian just picked up, this was last year, that Pro XP
Yeah.
that's got all the live valve suspension and stuff on it. He takes me and ride, just pinned to where if we were in the town, I'd be terrified. This thing was like a cloud.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So not only are they taking these motors to the next level, they're doing the same thing with suspension. They've got all the live valve technology you see in like some of the Raptors and the TRXs is going right into the side-by-sides now, to where you can have selective on-the-fly dampening of characteristics of your shocks, to where I want to say like SDIs, I think it's 500 times a second.
Yeah.
The sensors are reading. So I mean, even those SDI collects are available. Those SDI kits, have you seen those?
Yeah.
So what's in Cooper's Jeep? They have them for side-by-sides now. So
Carly.
Harley's
teamed up
doing
with
it now.
them. Yeah,
They just teamed up.
that's rad.
Yeah.
That'll be killer.
So I kind of wish it's like, yeah, they're doing all this horsepower and all that like cool stuff, right? It's cool suspension on the new one.
Oh, yeah.
How's that roll cage doing? You guys still doing those shitty roll cages where everybody's got to change them?
So they changed it.
Okay.
So this is the first year the only connecting points are the A pillar and the B pillar on the
Okay.
new Polarises. So they used to have multiple connecting points. This is the first chassis to the market that it only got one connecting point. So it should be a lot smaller.
That's cool because like everybody with like razors changed their cage. It's like,
Yeah.
well, the other one wouldn't help me.
Right.
The other one's pretty much a death trap. It's like, wow, that's like the one thing that you want. Like, good.
Yeah. Yeah. So they really, I think they knowing that we're going to double the horsepower of every other side by side.
We need to do some safety.
Yeah. So they I think it comes with 5-point harnesses too, if I remember right. And they did a bunch of stuff in the hubs big thing, man.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you can go out and buy like your say $25,000. You can buy a pretty capable, wheel and rig with 21 inches of wheel travel, 18 inches or whatever it is. Go out, wheel the piss out of it, come back, load it onto your trailer, and get in your daily driver and take it home.
Yeah.
I think that's for me one of the selling points and the reason a lot of people in the industry are going that way, because they're tired of driving to the trail in their JK or whatever, going out and breaking something and having to fix it or can't get it back and they've got to borrow a trailer and a truck and get it back. Just go beat up on your side by side.
Yeah.
Get your daily good.
And then having it being so light, it would be good behind, like if you have a Ford Explorer, you just tow it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And up until those things started becoming more well equipped, there was no way you could buy something without any knowledge.
Right.
You get that? It was always you were buying someone else's project, or you had to build it on your own.
Exactly.
And it was a built not bought type thing. So
Yep.
that's like there's literally cash on the check of bought not built. But you're buying something that's capable,
Right.
and once you change the roll cage, clearly safe.
Yeah.
And you can do a lot of fun shit around someone who
Oh, yeah.
it kind of sucks because you have the guy out there that's maybe like really trying to learn how to like build off-road equipment for his Jeep and get out there and do it. And all of a sudden you get this
18-year-old kid in his can.
a-hole in a Can-Am. I would say not even I would expect the 18-year-old in the Can-Am, right? Or
Right.
if they have that or something like that. What's even more upsetting is you have the 55-year-old who's never off-roaded in his life,
Yeah.
doesn't care about anything out there. He's like, oh, off-road's hard. And it's like, whoa, asshole. Hey, this trail has been hard for the last 50 years. It wasn't until the last 10 years you stupid-ass side-by-sides came along. Oh, it's an easy trail.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I just did it 5 times. Right?
So the first year we took my truck to Easter Jeep Safari was, I think, the first year that we really dove in deep into side-by-sides. So Brian and Cooper took their X3s, and me and Dave was in Stretch, our Cummins two-door JK, and I was in my truck. And we get to the trailhead, and like, we went to the top of the world. It takes about like an hour to get to the top, and maybe 15 minutes into it, Cooper comes on the radio. You guys are never gonna believe this. He's just laughing. We're like, what? And he's like, we're already at the top. And Dave and I were like the first obstacle, and we were just like, oh my gosh. So they came back down, hung out with us, ripped back up. Like, it changes a lot. Now, another conversation we talked about recently was like trail etiquette and how that's changed because these side by sides are coming in doing things 10 times faster than the Jeeping guys, and they're crazy, man. They're fun though. They're so much fun.
Yeah.
It's like an RC toy for an adult.
You know, one thing I found out that some specific people hate. Well, obviously side-by-side riding on the roads, but there's a specific group of people at a specific time that just absolutely hate hunters.
Oh man.
Man, I've gotten mean mugged by so many hunters who are just like shredding on the road. Like,
I
and
ran into you guys.
my argument is like, get off the road, pussy. Like,
Yeah.
go hunting, dude. Like, it's a road.
Yeah.
But
The
like,
good old road hunters.
yeah, there's been, especially in Idaho, like a ton of people we passed, and like you wave at them, they're like, don't even look at you. They're just like pissed.
Yeah.
And we go to Washington, but like Tacoma Creek where we went last time. We ran into some moose hunters. They had a moose tag for up there, and they were actually like, "Hey, did you guys see any moose?" like we don't even care that you guys are ripping, but did you see anything?
Find some. Come
Yeah, if
find
you guys
us.
find some, just come holler at us. But yeah, hunters do not like side-by-sides ripping on their.
They rip around on e-bikes.
Is that what they do?
Yeah, man.
Oh my god.
Dude, think about it. Like, you pick yourself up an e-bike, like something like Quiet Cat, right? And you've got the big beefy tires on it.
Sure. Yeah.
You've got a range of however many miles. You can go down a single track trail straight down, coast down it, shoot your deer, and not pedal up. And
Yeah.
it's silence.
I get that, but it's like that's probably like one of those things that's like a hard pill to swallow for somebody to do. Like hunters, like it's like a manly thing to
Dude,
do. You know,
Elk Shape Scott.
do they really?
Yeah, he does. He won't hunt anywhere near a road. He goes like deep in
good for the environment. Yeah.
This guy.
Now that leads me straight to like vegan, granola,
Right.
vegetarian.
Yeah.
Overland.
And let alone they find out their best customers like, oh, dude, I take this thing out of the woods and fucking kill so much shit. It's so good.
It's so
I made a trailer that dude, did you know this thing can tow like 3 elk? I towed 3 elk out with it. It was amazing. You know, like,
Well, those electric golf cart looking things they had for a while, like I remember watching like hunting shows on TV, and they'd always have the ad for like it almost looked like a golf cart, but it was electric and it was like lifted. Do you remember the brand? Like I can't remember the brand of it, but it was like a
You basically
it was like like a big it's like big boy something or big boy carts or something like that. But it was like basically just like a stupid golf cart, but that's what they use like on like hunting ranches and shit down south. And yeah,
Well, now
I could get it. I understand.
you're starting to see performance stuff in the UTV world come out electric now.
Check out this resistor.
Dude, it's weird, which I don't get because they're like Polaris came out with their I can't remember. It's kind of like a Ranger. I can't remember exactly what the model was, but I want to say they said up to an 80-mile range. So up to meaning they probably drove it on the lowest power level
yeah, hyper
on a
tiring.
flat road.
Yeah.
I just can't get behind it yet with the range. Like, what are you gonna instead of putting a person, are you just gonna put your like Honda gas powered generator into your
In the bed, just fire that up, just plug it in, just keep going.
ran out of battery?
Good thing I already filled my tank.
Yeah, that's the one thing with electric anything is range. I mean, that's what they're trying to do with like the semi-truck world and like the over-the-road trucker kind of guys, but they just can't get the range out of them.
Right.
And there's not the infrastructure for them to be charging in the middle of freaking Wyoming or wherever they're going. So that's the one downside. They gotta get that battery. Elon Musk has gotta find some freaking unobtainium on the moon or Mars or wherever he's going.
I will say they are fun though. The torque.
Oh,
Have you been in a Tesla?
No, but I know electric.
I have not.
Oh my! Have you heard Mine Cooper's?
Oh yeah, S&B.
Wow,
Okay, we're gonna transition to story time a little bit. 'Cause
Yeah.
that was fun.
between the three of us, we got some fairly good stories.
Yeah.
So, Kyle, tell me about your first time in a Tesla.
Cooper and I we were going to some show, and anytime we have vendors in that area, obviously we want to go out and meet them face to face, see how they're doing, get a tour of their shop if we can, and we're in like a Kia, and this whole time we're driving this rental Kia, the goal is to get the lowest amount of gas mileage we could. So we're like 65 on the highway, fourth gear, no, third's good. No, it was fun. So anyways, we went, hung out with Barry. They're great company, great people there, and we're gonna go. I think we were going to Icon after that or something. And Barry's like, try the Tesla, it's awesome. We're like, no, this is a terrible idea. Absolutely not. He's like, I would refuse. You cannot tell me no. You have to take it.
Have you met us?
He's like, you have to take it. You'll love it. And Cooper's like, nah, I don't think. And so Barry just tossed the key at him, and we're like, okay. So we get it, and they're crazy. They're just crazy.
Ludicrous mode.
First off, if you haven't been in one, when you get on the highway and you set into autonomous or whatever it is, it's freaky when you're coming into corners. Like you're just like your natural instinct is to grab the steering wheel and turn, and it just goes, and you're just like, your heart's like, I'm sure you get used to it, but yeah, that thing's cuckoo. It goes like 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. I don't know, and it's the only vehicle I've ever been in that you go on like a crazy roller coaster, or you do the thing where they take you up and then they just free fall and drop.
And you feel in your balls.
Yeah. It legitimately does that exact same feeling because it is instant torque and you can feel the cheeks come back. It's
You can feel on your inside.
Yeah.
Your organs are moving. Your body's
everything.
not.
It's so crazy. Those rigs are so cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, backwards. Your body's moving, but your organs aren't.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
They're just crazy. And it's the other weird thing is you're going so fast, so quick, and all you hear is, and you're just like, no, where's the noise?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're cuckoo, man. Teslas, I'd drive one. They're rad.
I think I would probably drive one too. I think it'd be fun.
Shout out to S&B and Barry. Thanks for letting us drive
Like, how does he
Teslas.
feel like
It was cool.
being able to make like one single product for his car?
like, Barry drive a Tesla. Like, what? And he's like, the reason he got it is because California traffic's crazy.
Yeah.
He said sometimes he answers more emails on his commute home than he does while he's at work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Autonote, and then it's just like emails. Beep, 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 beep. But yeah, if you ever get the opportunity to get in one, I don't know which model he's got. It was cuckoo though, and it was fun. Cooper was just being Cooper.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
so
Cooper's
fun.
not afraid to mat anything, and I imagine. I mean, again, I was not there. I imagine it was like, okay, here we go. Oh God.
It was that like.
Did he put it in ludicrous mode?
I don't think so. I don't
Oh
know.
my God! You guys haven't even felt the whole experience.
Dude, it was the first time in it. I mean, it's not like we could be like, oh, let's change the settings to this. We didn't know.
I would. I'd be like, dude, I know there's a mode.
Dude,
That
it's
is
like a
ludicrous.
gigantic computer in front of you. You're just like, go. And even like the parking features, like drive by a parking spot and hit park, and it'll just be like, oh yeah, that was an open spot. Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, isn't there like a fetch mode, like where it like pulls out, and like comes like,
Probably.
hey,
I don't know, man.
come here, car.
They're crazy. They're just crazy machines. But yeah, if they could come up with that technology, it's one truck I really want to get into is that Ford Lightning. Oh, you guys not fans?
It's got they even advertised it. What do they call it? A front trunk.
The front trunk. Have you seen how much room is in there?
I don't care how much room's in there, Kyle.
The reason I want to get in it is because I want to see if it's at any way, shape, or form similar experience as being in the Tesla.
Sure.
Because if it can get up and go like that, that'd be cool. But again, back to the whole range thing. Like,
Right.
that's what gets me. I don't want to come home and have to plug my truck in every time. The 4xe Cooper had let him down in the first like 10 minutes of owning it.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get from Coeur d'Alene to Spokane on electric.
No shit.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that was a bust.
Yeah. Honestly, I had no idea that they were even making those
It'd be
until he
cool if
pulled
you,
up with it, and I was like,
yeah, I mean, if you lived in like Seattle or LA or
Yeah.
New York where you have short commute, yeah, I mean, it'd be ideal. But
perfect. Cause
Did he just return that, or did he still have it?
no, it's gone.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, it's gone.
The part with me with like an electric truck is, to me, a truck is still a tool, and having something that has to have electricity, like,
to me at this point, the only electric truck that I think is acceptable to own is Tesla's
Oh,
Cybertruck.
just,
It is so ridiculous. It is so out there. And it's just like, okay, that makes sense.
did you see the overland portion of it?
Oh, they've got a whole freaking thing there. I heard that. I don't remember where I heard this, but he was like making a quad, like an electric 4-wheeler to fit in the back
Right.
of the
well,
Cybertruck.
there is a guy on YouTube, Rich Rebuilds, something like that.
Yeah.
He does all Tesla stuff. And
Yeah.
he made a Tesla quad. And,
Did he?
and I believe Elon Musk found out about it and actually sent him some stuff for it.
No shit.
Yeah, he's got a Tesla motor and a quad.
Like that'd be freaking insane.
It is insane. He has videos of him ripping at it. He's like, this is not okay.
Speaking of, I don't know why I was talking. Speaking of Teslas, did you see the stuff that was at SEMA this year?
No, I didn't.
Dude, there was like Chevelle swapped Teslas and stuff.
Oh, there was
I
also
can't remember what it was. It was like a Chevelle or a.
there was another channel that I've been watching. I can't remember what it is, but they did a C10, an
Yeah.
all-wheel drive C10 Tesla.
Yeah.
That is just like, again, it's like not okay.
Like, is that going to be the thing that everyone talked about? You know, you never put a Ford in Cummins. Everyone always does Cummins swaps. Like, 40 years from now, or will our kids be on a podcast like, oh, did you Tesla swap that, dude?
Yeah. We did a 4-motor swap.
They're already talking about it on
They're already
YouTube.
doing
it. I know.
Well, they're like, it's only a matter of time before this becomes a more modular thing, where it's like, you
It's
can
crazy.
swap anything.
Well, think of it. He made like a kit.
A universal
Yeah, like a universal. Like here's your motor, here's your control panel, and here's like
Here's your battery pack.
you put it in whatever you want.
Yeah.
Here you go. Like he could probably sell those freaking things like hotcakes.
I'd say it's probably like, that'd be like a 30 grand thing.
Oh, probably more. I don't know.
Well, that's kind
For
of
a one axle.
the R28 kits. Aren't they up there? They're up in like 25 or something, 28.
I thought the R2s were like in the low 20s.
For the same setup? I thought it was less than 20. I didn't think it was that much.
I don't know.
For some reason, 20
Power,
seconds
it's
in
just
my
an
head.
engine and computer. Like if that engine was that expensive, they ain't selling any of those. 'Cause you can buy a brand new. I know, but
Those things don't sell for shit.
yeah, it can't be that much. That's expensive.
I feel like for some reason in my mind, R28 we have the power of the internet at our fingertips,
Yeah.
and we're just guessing about this shit. What do you got for me?
Gosh, guys, that was way off.
How much?
Well, Google says it's
12
about
grand?
$8,000.
Okay,
Okay,
that
that
sounds
sounds
more.
way better.
Oh no, that's 4BT.
It's a 4BT from 1984.
Let's see who finds it first. I'm getting on the Google machine here too.
Hey Siri,
Buy.
how much is
Cummins.
our 2.8 liter Cummins engine platform? Do, 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 do.
Quick job brand. Cummins R28.
Oh, I got a Cummins website. They're gonna tell me any pricing.
No, they won't.
I think you're right, Ben. I think it's right around $10,000. I can't find it. Maybe that's why they don't sell them. I can't even try and buy one right now.
Yeah, maybe that's why it's so hard. Like this website doesn't even let me scroll down.
Okay, this is an article from March 2020. How much does a Cummins R28 cost? In cost alone, the R28's price tag is a drawback, but its MSRP has already come down to $7,699
Okay.
Okay.
from $8,999.
I was out of my mind.
Yeah.
Don't call me.
Well, just off the top of my head,
Tell you what, though,
sir, I was just asking about a bottle of fuel bottle.
I'll tell you what, man, my go-to is if I don't know, it's 50.
Here's the crazy thing. It's not. I don't think we're too far out. Seeing what I saw at Siemens. No, I don't think they have yet. Somebody's going to do a Tesla UTV.
So that brings me to
That's going to
kind of like
be
the
talk about lightweight and fast.
yeah, like I said, because you got kids, like the evolution of the common day motorhead, if you will, the gearhead, if you will.
Right.
Me and Tyler talked about it before too. It's like, it may not be. It's already changing because obviously we've got, I'm on now the later half of 30s. You're not far behind me, Tyler. 31, 32, 31. And there's the generation, say like 10, 15 years below us that are in their 20s, early 20s and whatnot, and their perception of being a motorhead or a gearhead is completely different than we see it. It's all electronics, whereas a lot of us are still kind of the halfway, like I respect the mechanical, I understand the electronic.
I know how to rebuild a carburetor.
I still don't.
What?
Yeah.
Benjamin.
I know.
I can rebuild it, but I can't tune it in for nothing.
I can't tune it. I can rebuild it.
Yeah, I can rebuild
can't
it.
tune it.
Yeah.
I can take apart anything and put it back together.
Yeah, that's simple.
How to make it work though, I just don't know shit about it. It's one of the things where I can learn. Whereas, I see like our kids or maybe our grandkids, it's they're gonna look back and the stuff that was like common to us, like, oh, that's a mechanical engine. So what? It's a mechanical engine. It means it doesn't use electronics. Well, how does it run?
That's a manual transmission.
How does that work? Like this is called a tone ring. It tells your brakes when to turn on and turn off. What? I don't understand how that works.
I know. Our kids are going to be like, Dad, all you have to do is say the word and it starts for you. Yeah. Where's the noise? It doesn't make any.
See that third pedal down there? It's a clutch pedal.
Yeah.
What's a clutch pedal?
A purse? What is that? What's going on here?
How you open the hood?
Yeah, that's crazy.
My freaking bar is just empty.
That's so fine.
How
We
much
should
water
probably
do you
wrap
got
this
left?
up.
A little bit.
Okay. So me and Tyler, we got
What's our time, Corey? How long have we been doing this? Wow.
yeah. It's true. Like whenever we have guests on, it tends to go long. I do want to throw this out there while we're all still primed and prepped. Everybody's happy right now. Not the same. We're all gonna get mad, but me and Kyle like to get naked and fight sometimes.
Tommy sticks.
Yeah. When Tyler's not around, we all oil up and just see what happens. Cooper was referee short and it worked out.
Apparently with a 3-inch inseam, according to that wall.
I have some 3-inch inseam shorts.
I'm sure you do.
Hey, sun's out, quads out, baby.
There you go.
100%.
I like it.
So we've talked a lot about quads and overlanding on this episode. Obviously, this is a diesel podcast, but I know a lot of our listeners also are into that stuff too. And I want to make sure that they know that you are an easily accessible person and that
Totally.
we want to have you back on the show. Like we've had Cooper on.
Oh, yeah.
We want to have you back on. We've had Jesse on, like our fabricator in our shop. So if you've got questions on side-by-side stuff and you're a diesel guy, and you're honestly, I feel like we've got the 3 levels experience than Tyler. And you've got the first most experience, you've got the second most, I've got the third most, I got 0.
Yeah.
Speak the third best Italian.
Yeah.
So I want to, I mean, if you have questions on side-by-side shit or overlanding stuff, throw them in the comments. You can ask Kyle. He truthfully, his office is right next to mine. And I would like to answer people's questions on this. I know this episode is honestly not coming out until I did the schedule today. It's not coming out, I think, until February. Because today's December 22nd. We haven't even hit Christmas yet. But luckily, meantime, we do a good job. We got our episodes stacked up here a little bit. So
Wait.
this will be coming out in February. That means summer's right around the corner.
Yep.
And it's time to get not only your side-by-side set up, but also if you're into overlanding. I know me and Tyler talk a whole bunch of shit on overlanding. It's just easy to. But what overlanders think of diesel guys?
There's a lot of diesel overlanders. You'd be surprised.
Are they diesel overlanders, or are they overlanders that just need a big truck?
Are you talking what do Chads think about?
Well, what's an overlander Chad?
No.
I feel like
The
an
diesel
overlander needs to be
Chad.
Seth.
Ooh.
I don't know. It's kind of, I've been so disconnected from the diesel world since we took on the off-road project that I don't know, but I would imagine, I don't know how well they'd mesh. I should bring you to a show one time. If you walk around, I think your head might explode.
I probably would. But then again, take one of those guys and put him at,
A diesel
these guys are tools.
Yeah.
What's a tool show?
It's a cool community. There's a lot of camaraderie, so it's definitely different from. There's not a lot of chest bumping and grunting and stuff like that, but it's fun and it's cool. The way I like to experience it with loading my family up, wife and kids, and I can go to the top and pull out ice cream out of my fridge freezer. It's oh, we're in the middle of nowhere. You want a popsicle? It's 100 degrees outside. Here you go, buddy. So it's just bringing some of those conveniences that you're used to at home in your rig. But for the most part, everybody in that industry is super cool. I think there might be a reason they don't have diesel and overland events held simultaneously. I don't know. Who knows?
Not enough craft beer.
Yeah, that's probably
too
it.
many Coors Lights being smashed and not enough
IPAs.
IPAs, bro. There's your comparison right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Coors Light and IPA, man.
Yeah, me and my Coors Light and my PBR is hanging out over here, and you got your small batch IPAs.
A diesel guy would be like, look at those hippies over there. And the guys that over there would be like, yeah, we're hippies. Yeah, 100%. And the diesel guys are like, it's not working. What do we do?
Your pants are dumb.
Jeff, rev your engine. I'm not sure what to do right now. Are we fighting or are we kissing?
I'm not sure what you're saying. What I'm taking is disrespect. I'm going to speak loud until I figure out what's going on here. All right?
Oh, boy.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up, guys. We genuinely appreciate all of you guys tuning in and listening. And again, if you have questions for Kyle and you want to talk to him directly and you don't want to have us interfere because we're going to make fun of him when we ask him questions, Kyle, how do they get a hold of you?
You guys shoot me an email. My personal email is kyle@offroadpowerproducts.com, just like Diesel Power Products on the off-road. You can give me a call. My direct line is 509-795-8920. Be happy to.
Digits.
I know, right?
And just so you know, that phone line does receive texts.
It does. Yeah, I can text you right back from my computer. So
Pictures.
if you guys have any questions at all, let me know.
I'm sorry. I hope someone sends you something. Oh, my God. I hope
I forget. This is a whole other crowd of people.
For diesel people, I will say, are some of the most, off-color, redneck creative.
My firewall's
When
going
it
to blow
comes to,
up. man.
little videos.
You're going to picture it.
Brett's going to be
What
like,
is that? Shoot a message back and go,
Kyle's computer's broken.
that's my butthole.
I got a new rooftop tent. It's called the Dark Star.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Oh my god.
Called the Dark Star. Sir, did you just fax a picture of your show itself. So